Video here. This is Baltimore, and this is the MLB 2023 preview. This is Roster Resource, which is now done by Fangraphs, and you can see they got a lot of nice young hitters. These guys right here, all of them are less than 28 years old. Even Austin Hayes, who's been around forever. I mean, look at this lineup. The only two people I'm worried about are these two guys right here, Rushland. This potentially can be the plague of pitchers everywhere. And they've even got Jorge Mateo, who's a good infielder, defensively. He can play outfield, steal bases. I don't know if he'll do that this year. That's what he did last year. Their only weakness is their pitching staff. I mean, if Grayson Rodriguez, their rookie pitcher, who is, for whatever reason, garnered the accolades of all of the fantasy experts, he's a rookie pitcher. I don't know. That, to me, looks like their pitching sucks. We'll see. And then there's Boston, which has an interesting lineup as well, but they got this guy they got from Japan who's had maybe 7-8 years in Japan. I could pull that up, but that's him, Matsutaka Yoshida. And, we'll see how that translates. Not everybody can be an Ichiro Suzuki when they come over. But Justin Turner, age 38, injury-riddled. Duvall, home runs, RBI machine. This kid, Tristan Casas, apparently is someone everyone's high on. The ever-injured Adalberto Mondesi, whatever his name is. Yeah, he steals, but can he stay on the field? You look at, I just don't know about this team. Chris Sale, he's always injured. Kluber, he's getting older. Nick Pivetta, yeah, he's solid, but he blows up. Paxton, always injured. This kid, Greg Whitlock, though. I'd like him more if he was on a more solid pitching staff, but right now he's not. They got Kenley Jansen to be in the back of the bullpen, but, he's been losing his touch. He got usurped last year when Raisel Iglesias got traded for by the Braves. This Schreiber dude is pretty solid. Chris Martin's pretty solid. Brazier's pretty solid. Their bullpen actually looks better than their staff. So we go to the White Sox. I'm pretty high on the White Sox. If these two guys, Robert and Jimenez, could ever stay healthy, they could be a badass team. McConnell, if he could ever reach his potential. Vaughn's looking like he could step up this year. I mean, even Roster Resource thinks he's going to hit 26 homers. I think he'll be I don't want to say a sleeper, but I think he'll reach his potential this year. And then the catcher, Yasmani Grandal. I don't know about this team. They got a good pitching staff. If Lance Lynn stays in there, and Michael Kopech reaches his potential, Graveman will man the helm until Liam Hendricks comes back from his unfortunate non-Hodgkin's lymphoma issue. But the Bummer is the only other guy in that bullpen I trust. I don't trust any of these guys. Anyway, that's the White Sox. Cleveland, this is a good team. So underrated. You look at this hitting team, you can go all the way back. Oscar Gonzalez is a really good hitter. He came along last year and held his own and was a sneaky good September player. Zunino, he's a catcher. Yeah, he hits power and nothing else, as you can see by his sub 200 average. And again, this is just projections. That's not anything that's based on the past. These are just, okay. And this Marstraw, good center fielder, defense. That's about it. Myself, I'm not really sold on Stephen Kwan. Everyone's like all over him because he can just keep the bat on the ball and doesn't strike out. But I don't know. I think pitchers will figure out his weaknesses. He doesn't have power, but you never know. We'll see. Everybody else, though, even from Rosario all the way down to Gonzalez, is pretty solid. I'd take Gonzalez as one of my last outfielders whenever I can get him. Their bench kind of, in my opinion, sucks. The pitching staff. Oh my lord! Look at this. Look at this pitching staff. Quantrill stepped up next year. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a sub-4 ERA. I think Tristan McKenzie is going to be the ace of the staff, take over from Shane Bieber, who isn't going to be slighted by much. This kid, Cody Morris, has a wicked fastball slider combination. We'll see how he turns out. I've been picking him really late in 12-team drafts when I need a pitcher that late. Detroit, hold your gag reflex, y'all. Oh my God, who are these guys? The only person I would even think of, and I wouldn't pick anyone on this team at all. Oh my God, look, this pitching staff is horrendous. This kid Alex Lange might be the closer, but who knows? Closing what? They might win 40 games. Who's he gonna close for if he's not going to be able to save games that they win? Let's move on. Houston. Oh my. They won the World Series, didn't they? Yeah. And they are still a good team. This Jeremy Pena was a rookie last year. Now it's shortstop, and he's 7th place. Look at his stats. I don't know about Michael Brantley, forever injured, so I don't know who's going to be taking over when he's out. Probably Mauricio Devon, but they got Jake Myers there too. Regardless, this thing can shuffle. I imagine Jeremy Pena might be up here by the end of the year, so he's a sneaky ad. So I think he'll be up there behind Altuve before the end of the year. The pitching staff is still good, even though they just lost Verlander. All these guys are still less than 30 years old. They don't have a lot of wear and tear on their arms. And look at this bullpen all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. Even Phil Maton is a pretty underrated pitcher. You know, if you just look at strikeouts to box, he's still roughly 3 to 1. That's what I look at. I look at strikeout to walk ratio if I don't know a pitcher. Anywhere near 3 to 1 or better is a good pitcher. And then there's KC, which is another good line. If this kid, Kyle Zabel, might step up this year, it's hard to say. You never know with rookies. Michael Massey, also another kid on their staff of hitters. Vinny Pasquantino, incredible hitter. There's a lot of potential here with these guys. And so many people look poo-poo Hunter Dozier, but he's been solid. Every year he's come up. If I click that and we look at what he's done over the past couple of years, you know, yeah, it looks bad. But if he could ever get back to 2019, which is in him, he's still young, he could have that year again. That year is within him. Pitching staff, yeah. What does it say when Brady Singer is probably your best pitcher and he has never achieved his full potential? You never know, though. He could be the ace of the staff. Scott Paulo is probably the best reliever on this team. And look at Aroldis Chapman. Look how far he's fallen. Some people are speculating that Amir Garrett might eventually be the guy to own in this bullpen. And then Josh Stallman, him with the 100-mile-per-hour fastball. Interesting team. We'll see. L.A., Mike Trout's team, who bats second behind this kid called Taylor Ward, who was amazing last year until he got his shoulder injured, crashed into a wall, and then he just couldn't do anything. And then Shohei Ohtani, do I need to say anymore? Batting third, DH, ace pitcher. Oh my Lord, they have a decent pitching staff. They do. They'll go 6-man because of Shohei. Reed Detmers, Tucker Davidson. These guys right here have potential if they could overcome some of the weaknesses. And Patrick Sandoval's already pretty solid. You never know with this team. They've got some good bench players. Stassi's a good catcher. Fletcher's a good infielder. As you can see, he doesn't strike out. He gets the ball. And Joe Schurler used to be with the Yankees. Always been a solid bat. If Rendon comes back from all those myriad injuries and Renfroe continues his streak of 29, 30, 32, 33 home run seasons, which he's likely to do. This is a sneaky pick right there, that guy, back in outfielder. Brandon Drury, solid guy. He probably won't reach the levels he got last year when he was in Cincinnati. Jared Walsh, another guy. This team can be sneaky good offensively, and we'll see. Minnesota, another interesting team. But what's it got to say about your team when your leadoff batter has never played more than half a season because he gets injured all the time? And Max Kepler, 30-year-old, is your fourth place hitter. Yeah. This might be the year Gallo achieves his potential because they won't be able to shift on him too much. And if Kirillov's wrists, or I say wrist, plural wrist, is fully healed, he might be the guy who becomes the fourth place hitter. So I'd take a chance on Kirilov very late. Ryan Jeffers is a good backup catcher. We'll see. They traded for Pablo Lopez with Miami. Is he really their best pitcher? I don't know. I like Ryan, but his fastball is too straight. Molly's always a good player, pitcher. Their bullpen with John Duran, who in my mind is the guy to own their bullpen. Last year they pampered him because he's a rookie, and when they brought in Jorge Lopez from Baltimore to handle the save duties, you never know what they might do. They might leave Lopez doing that save duty, and Joanne might be the guy they bring in the 7th inning to stop. But I'd rather this guy. Look at his filthy stuff. That's almost 5-1. I say 5-1. I'm a math guy. That's almost 4-1. Ignore what I just said. All right, we're just going to do the American League, and then we'll record again. So, Yankees. Damn those Yankees. They're getting older. Half their team is over 30. And that's true of their 2 top pitchers. This kid, Domingo Germán, has always had potential. If he shows up, this is really good pitching staff. That's going to be their strength. And they also got solid bench. Aaron Hicks is always injured. They brought in Harrison Bader last year, knowing that this was the year they wanted him, and I think he's going to be sneaky good. As you see, he'll get you some power, some steals. Although he is a right-handed batter at Yankee Stadium, which doesn't favor the right-handed power hitters unless you're someone like Aaron Judge, who no stadium can hold what he hits. It's an interesting team, this team. If Giancarlo Stanton doesn't get injured, lives up to his role, and Josh Donaldson can play defense, this team can hold its own, especially with this pitching staff. They might have some weakness in the reliever core, though. We'll see. Oakland, do I have to spend time looking at Oakland? They live 10, 15 miles away from where I'm now sitting, but oh my God, what is this team? This is your best player, Ramon Laureano? Yikes. Yikes, I am terrified of this team. They don't even have a good pitching staff. They don't even have any except this guy they got from Japan who signed with them. Why would you sign with Oakland? Of all the teams you could have picked, that just says a lot about what people think about you. I mean, if you look at this, he walks a lot of guys. But this is, of course, a projection. And Trevor May is your guys who save the game? Really? Oh, my God. I don't know who's worth, this team or Detroit. Seattle's looking pretty good. I don't think they'll make it this year. But they got rid of, what's his name, who came to San Francisco Giants. And Teoscar Hernandez came over from Toronto. He's a solid guy. Not necessarily a good fielder. That'll hurt them. Lack of outfield defense, but they've got a really good pitching staff. The only guy who isn't worth his weight is Marco Gonzalez, but he's a veteran. He gives them depth, innings. The other three guys are incredible. All these guys gives you 6-7 innings. Amazing. And they got a good bullpen too, all the way down. All these guys. So I would imagine Flexen comes in back of Marco Gonzalez. That's what happened a lot last year. All right, we've got 3 more teams to go for the American League. This is Tampa Bay, who are perennially underrated, and I think that's still the case. A lot of people are talking about this guy, and Isaac Paredes might be like Harold Ramirez, very underrated. We'll see. The Rays tend to pick these little-known skills players who can do a little bit of everything, provide good defense. So we'll see. That this catching combination, Betancourt and Mejia, will do them some good. But their pitching staff is their strength. These 3 guys and Springs could be the top 4 starters. And Eflin's a good innings eater. In his own right, he's a good pitcher too. And then look at their, reliever core. This kid, Jason Adams, amazing. They won't give any one pitcher the save role, so you're likely to see these 2 split it with some other pitchers getting their fair share. And even this guy, Posh, this lefty, is pretty solid himself. And I'm saying that not just by looking at his stats, but I've actually seen the guy pitch. Then there's Texas, who has a chance to do pretty good this year. Look, I mean, they signed Simeon and Seager to roles. They got this guy Nathaniel Lowe from a trade with the Tampa Bay Rays, who showed he was solid last year, and he'll still be solid this year. Adolis Garcia, who can do what he do, and Hines a pretty good catcher, and this kid Josh Jung might achieve his potential, and Lodi Taveras from came from the Cardinals a couple years ago, and it's been in their system. He's always had potential too, so you never know what could happen. And I imagine Taveras could eventually move to the top with Simeon, Seager, Lowe, and Garcia behind them, and then followed by Jung. You can't just buy what Varsity Research has here as projections. And Mitch Carver is another good backup catcher. This kid Ezekiel Duran's a solid hitter. Bubba Thompson, another good solid backup outfielder. And look where Jacob deGrom winds up. One of my favorite pitchers of the last 10 years. He is slowly sunsetting, but he's got a lot of life in his arm because he didn't start pitching until later on in his career. He used to be a hitter, and I think it's later on in high school or early college when he became a pitcher. So he's got a lot of life on his arm, but we'll see. John Gray, it started to achieve his potential last year after he got out of Colorado, but then he got hurt. Andrew Heaney's similar situation, always had potential, and keeps getting hurt. Valdi's been solid. They got a decent pitching staff. Even in the bullpen, this kid Joe Barlow, solid pitcher. Behind Leclerc Hernandez. Leclerc will probably get most of the saves. And last, Toronto. Now, Toronto can hit. You got a 31 home run third baseman as your sixth batter. Dalton Varsho, power from the left side, who can also catch, but they're not going to throw him in catcher. He's going to be their outfielder. But he qualifies as catcher, so I've been drafting him when I can, but if people draft him ahead of me, that's cool. I'm not going to pick a catcher in the 7th round. I'm just not going to do it. If I can get him in the 8th round, I will pick him up, though, because he's going to bat more than your average catcher, as you see right here. He'll get more than 500 at-bats, which is rare for a catcher. I think this is the year Vladimir Guerrero gets close to his dad's status. Whit Merrifield still got some life in his legs, in his bat. And look at old Brandon Belt, baby giraffe. It's good to see. I don't think much will come of him. Their bench, meh. This kid, Kevin Biggio has always been, I think, a bit overrated. They got a good pitching staff, all the way down to Kikuchi. Good reliever core. Yimi Garcia's really good pitcher, even back when he was pitching for Miami. Same thing with Bass. Simber's a good, solid pitcher. Same thing with Mitch White, who they brought over, I think, from L.A. So Toronto's got a pretty good pitching staff. Anyway, that's the American League.